In the communion of saints, every life tells a story. Today, on his feast day, we tell the story of Saint Ignatius of Loyola. He spent his youth chasing glory, fame, and the love of women. He was a soldier, proud, ambitious, and utterly devoted to the ideals of knighthood and honor. Then a cannonball shattered his leg on a battlefield in Spain, and everything changed. In a sickbed with nothing to do but read and think, God found him. And the man who had spent his life fighting for earthly glory became the founder of one of the most powerful religious orders in the history of the Church. His name was Ignatius of Loyola, and his story is one of the most dramatic conversions in the history of Christianity. Íñigo López de Loyola was born in 1491 in the Basque region of northern Spain, the youngest of 13 children of a noble family. From his earliest years, he was shaped by the culture of the Spanish court. He became a page, then a soldier, living a life he himself later described as devoted to vanity and especially to the pleasures of women. He was skilled with a sword, proud of his appearance, and burning with the desire to win glory on the battlefield. In 1521, he got his chance at the fortress of Pamplona, defending the city against a vastly superior French force. When his fellow soldiers wanted to surrender, Ignatius refused. He rallied them to fight, and then a cannonball struck him, shattering his right leg and wounding his left. The battle was lost, and Ignatius was carried home on a stretcher to the castle of Loyola to recover. The recovery was long, painful, and at times desperate. The leg was set badly and had to be broken and reset twice without anesthetic. Ignatius endured it without a sound because it was not becoming of a knight to cry out. During the long months of recovery, he asked for books of romance and chivalry. None were available. What he was given instead were 2 books that would change his life and the history of the Church: A Life of Christ and a collection of the lives of the saints. As he read, he noticed something extraordinary. When he thought about worldly things like battles, women, and glory, he felt excitement that quickly faded into emptiness. But when he thought about the saints and about serving God, he felt a deep and lasting peace and joy that did not fade. He began to pay attention to these movements of his soul. And slowly, in that sickbed in Loyola, a soldier became a saint. After his recovery, Ignatius made a pilgrimage to the shrine of Our Lady at Montserrat. He hung his sword and dagger at the altar of Mary, a powerful symbolic act of a soldier laying down his weapons before God. He spent nearly a year at the nearby town of Manresa in prayer, fasting, and deep contemplation, experiencing intense spiritual consolations and desolations that he later described and organized in his famous work, The Spiritual Exercises, one of the most widely read and influential books on prayer ever written. He dreamed of going to Jerusalem. He went. He was turned back. He returned to Spain and then went to Paris to study theology, convinced that if he was to serve God, he needed to be properly formed. It was in Paris that the Society of Jesus was born. Ignatius gathered around him a small group of extraordinary men, including Francis Xavier, who would become the greatest missionary of the modern era, and Peter Faber. On the 15th of August, 1534, in a small chapel on Montmartre, this group of friends made their vows together, committing themselves to poverty, chastity, and obedience, and placing themselves entirely at the disposal of the Pope. 6 years later, Pope Paul III gave official approval to their new order, the Society of Jesus. The Jesuits were born. Within decades, they were everywhere, teaching in universities across Europe, evangelizing in India, Japan, China, and the Americas, and reforming the Church from within during one of the most turbulent periods in its history. Ignatius spent his final years in Rome governing the rapidly growing society, writing thousands of letters and continuing to develop the spiritual exercises. He was reported to have levitated during prayer. Miracles were attributed to him during his lifetime. He died quietly on the 31st of July, 1556, so quietly that those around him did not realize immediately that he was gone. He was canonized in 1622 along with his beloved friend Francis Xavier. Today, the Jesuits number over 15,000 members worldwide, present in over 100 countries, running universities, schools, hospitals, retreat centers, and missions on every continent on earth. Saint Ignatius of Loyola is the patron saint of soldiers, of spiritual retreats, and of educators. His feast day is celebrated every year on the 31st of July. His life is a reminder that God can take the most unlikely material, a vain and ambitious sword-wielding soldier, and make of it something extraordinary. All it took was a cannonball, a sickbed, and 2 books. Before we close, I would love to hear from you. What part of Ignatius's story surprised you the most? His wild early life, his conversion in the sickbed, or what he went on to build? Drop your answer in the comments below. May the soul of Saint Ignatius of Loyola and the souls of all the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen.